Good evening and welcome, everyone. I'm delighted to have you here tonight. My name is Emily Schreinemakers, and I'm the first year experience specialist here at the CUNY School of Professional Studies. Our paths may have crossed back in August during orientation, and if that's the case, it's a pleasure to see you again. I've been working with DegreeWorks for several years now, mostly as an academic advisor. I was also a CUNY student myself, so I am familiar with the platform and a lot of the features connected to it. You may have heard that DegreeWorks underwent some big changes recently, however, as recently as October 15th, actually, which is why I'm so happy to also welcome my colleague, Christian Yuriostegui, who is our enrollment systems assistant. And he's also our resident DegreeWorks expert here at CUNY SPS. So Christian will be co-presenting with me and is happy to answer any questions regarding DegreeWorks that you may have as well. So there's a lot of helpful content for you tonight, and I can't wait to get started. It's my hope that you find this material useful and that it encourages you to ask questions, explore, and ultimately take charge of your degree and path to graduation. So let's get started. So let's briefly review what we'll be covering tonight. So first, we're going to look deeper into what DegreeWorks actually is. You may have encountered this tool at a previous college or during advisement sessions, but not had a chance to fully explore its capabilities and how it is linked to your degree progress. Next, we'll move into how to access the tool itself. Studies show us that the average person uses around 9 different apps per day, so it can get pretty overwhelming to keep track of how to find and log into different platforms. So we'll take a moment to walk through how to find the tool and appropriately log onto your personal page. After, we'll delve into the content of the page itself and how to interpret the information that you can find within. We'll also take a look at some of the students' favorite tools, such as the SEP, which stands for the Student Education Planner. And we'll also look at what's called the What If features. And Christian will also help us out with understanding the new look and feel of the DegreeWorks interface and where to locate important pieces of information on the page. Finally, we will wrap up with a list of important contacts for you, actually, and resources related to DegreeWorks, as well as a short Q&A session. So let's get started. So before we dive into the specifics, let's get oriented with a general scope of what DegreeWorks actually is. So DegreeWorks at its core is essentially a checklist of your degree requirements at CUNY SPS, and every student has their own personal page. It's an easy way to view your personal degree requirements, any transfer credits that you have brought in with you from other colleges, provided that your transfer credit evaluation has been completed. Please talk to your advisor if you have questions about that. It also shows courses that are currently in progress, as well as courses that are still required for graduation. It's a particularly powerful tool, especially when used in conjunction with conversations with your academic advisor, who can help you appropriately interpret the information found on your personal DegreeWorks page. DegreeWorks can also be used to determine whether some courses are eligible for financial aid. However, we won't delve too deeply into that, as those questions are best directed towards the financial aid department, but it's something that I like to share with students as well. So given all this info, how do we actually access DegreeWorks? You've heard about all these features, interested in finding how to find your actual page. So to do so, you'll want to head to the URL listed on this slide. And from there, you'll insert your CUNY credentials, which is your first name, last name, plus the last 2 of your EMPL ID and your CUNY first password. I actually encourage you to do this right now if you'd like. It'll make the experience a little bit more hands-on for you. You can also screenshot this page. I recommend that as well. So once you've logged in with your CUNY credentials, you'll be brought to a page that's similar to this one. In my particular case, I was a Baruch College student, so my DegreeWorks from that institution appears. If you've attended another CUNY, this may be the case for you as well. But of course, for our intents and purposes, we'll click on the DegreeWorks link that is under the School of Professional Studies. So before we get into the specifics of what you're going to see on the next page, I'd like to point out that a term that you're going to hear us refer to often is blocks. Myself and Christian will be using this term. DegreeWorks is made up of completely actually of different blocks that each provide you with unique information regarding your personal progress towards degree completion. So let's take a closer look at those blocks. So here we have an exclusive look of what the new DegreeWorks audit page looks like. This went live last Friday, I believe. And we'd like to note that, certain pieces of information on the page you're seeing have been blocked out for privacy purposes, but on your own degree audit page, you will be able to see the following in the first block of the page. Your EMPL ID in the upper left corner, your full name that is on file with the college, your degree type, your major, and a few other pieces of information, such as concentrations and minors that you have on file with the college. You can also see the number of transfer credits you've brought in, and as well as any service indicators or holds that you have on CUNY First. So essentially, I'm going to be walking you through a sample audit of what the page will actually look like. So once you scroll down from the first block, we'll move to the second one, where you'll be able to see a few more bits of information, such as your degree progress and your cumulative GPA. Note here that you'll be able to see the percentage of total requirements completed, as well as the percentage of credits completed towards your degree. You also have the option to toggle between student view on the drop-down menu and what's called a registration checklist. So in the live version, when you're toggling on this drop-down menu, when you select registration checklist, this will prompt more information to appear in one of the other blocks we're about to look at. So just to point that out for you, that you have that option there when you're on your own audit. You can also see the last time degree audit was run by viewing the audit date on the bottom left in this screenshot. Oh, and just to highlight the percentages there, sorry. Before we move any further, I'd like to do a quick breakdown of some of the symbols that you'll see on your personal degree audit page. This legend is also available on your page, so you're able to access this at any point. I just wanted to draw your attention to it. You may recall that I mentioned earlier that DegreeWorks is an interactive, dynamic checklist of your degree requirements. And as we navigate through this checklist, you'll likely see the following symbols. So you can see here that the green check mark indicates that the course or requirement is completed, either at SPS or through transfer credit from another institution, for example. The halfway filled circle indicates that a course is in progress. Let's say for your courses that you're currently enrolled in fall 2022, or when you register for a future semester, you'll see this symbol. The red circle also indicates that a requirement is not complete and still needs to be finished, and so on. So you can see this is just a quick reference and is also available at the bottom of your live page. So if we scroll down a bit further, we reach what's called the degree block. So here's where you can sort of see an overview of your progress towards your degree. It's sort of like a dashboard for the rest of the information on DegreeWorks. You can see if you've completed all requirements for different areas such as general education, the college option, major requirements, and minor requirements if applicable. You can also see details like the total number of credits required for your bachelor's degree, your GPA, the number of credits that you've taken that are applied towards your degree requirements, as well as the elective credits allowed for your degree. We highly recommend reaching out to your academic advisor if you have any questions regarding your elective credits or credits required to complete your degree. You can see each of the respective areas highlighted here. And I just want to point everyone's attention to the elective credits allowed. This is, and I think Christian can speak to this later, but this was one of the bigger changes that you can see, that the number of elective credits are reflected in the degree block up here. But again, we want to emphasize any questions about that, please direct them to your academic advisor for assistance. So scrolling down past the degree block, you'll see more blocks, which is called the college option block. So here you can see your progress with regards to completing CUNY SPS's college-specific requirements or the college option. And something you'll notice immediately if you haven't completed the 6 credits is that it says still needed in big red letters. So it's made to stand out. This is a helpful indicator to let you know to pay close attention to this section and possibly ask your advisor what might still be needed to complete these requirements. So if you see something like this, definitely a prompt to speak with your advisor. You can also see that in this particular student's case, they have transferred in a course from another college that has been applied to the first college option requirement. Therefore, there's a green check mark next to this requirement indicating that it's complete. You can also see under satisfied by that this course came in from Kingsborough Community College. So DegreeWorks does allow you to see not only that the requirement was completed, but also that it came in, for example, if it transferred in from a different college, that'll be reflected on your audit. So moving down further the blocks here, the next block we'll head to is your major block. So this block shows your personal progress towards completing courses required for your major choice of study. So this student, for example, is a psychology major and has completed general psychology, research methods, etc. Every course there that you see with a green check mark, either done at CUNY SPS or transferred in, as you can see, satisfied by Kingsborough or BMCC, for example. You can also see the grades earned for these courses, the semester that they were completed, or when they were transferred in. So in this case, this particular person transferred in summer 2022. And you can also see the courses that are still needed. In this case, you can see that the student needs to take, for example, statistical methods, advanced research methods, and their capstone project when the time comes. You can see that's also indicated by the red circles, meaning that it still needs to be completed. So you have that visual distinction as well. This is a block that I wanted to point out, as some students will have a concentration for their major, or a minor. This will be appearing in a separate block. So if your major does require a concentration like psychology, that'll be the next block that you see in your audit. In this example, you can see that the student has selected the concentration in psychological development, so that's pretty clearly indicated here. And you can see, once again, the progress towards completing those requirements. Once again, the transfer credit that came in from BMCC, 2 classes actually, and that they have 1 more class in contemporary issues in adulthood and aging to complete their concentration requirements. You'll also see the number of credits reflected at the top there. So the final page that you'll see, just one second, having a little technical, okay. So the final block that you'll see on your page is the electives block. And here you can view the total number of elective credits that have been applied towards your degree, as well as the number of courses applied towards this section. We'd like to emphasize once again that if you have any questions about your electives, please be sure to make an appointment with your academic advisor, as every student's electives are shuffled differently, and it's really on a case-by-case basis. But I really just wanted to show you guys this particular section, and once again, how you can see where courses have come in, how many credits are applied, etc. So this is just another block that you can see on your live audit. All right, so switching gears, because that was quite a lot of information, and I understand that DegreeWorks can be a bit dense, so I like to take a brief pause in the middle here because it is a lot. So let's take a little break for a moment. We've reviewed the types of information that you can see on the main page of your degree audit. And in addition to seeing these very specific details about what classes are in progress, what is transferred in, and what is still left to complete for your degree, DegreeWorks actually has an array of other tools to support you as you steer through your academic journeys. So at this stage, I'd like to hand it over to my colleague Christian, because he's going to explain some of these features to us today.
Hello, everyone. Emily, thank you for the intro.
Sure.
So I'm going to briefly discuss the Student Education Planner. So it's a really helpful tool. It's created in collaboration with your advisor. So you can create a plan yourself. It's something that you have to discuss with your advisor, but essentially what the Student Education Planner is, it's a template of classes that you might want to take for either the current or future semester. It could be helpful if you want to plan ahead or have a particular order in which you want to take classes. So I'm just going to share my screen so I can briefly show you what a plan looks like. So if you look at my screen, and once you click on the plan itself, you'll see the degree, your current degree, the current level that you are. So in this case, this student's a graduate student and their degree is a Master of Science. So if you look below, you'll see that in this example, the student in collaboration with their advisor planned ahead for what classes they might want to take for the spring 2022 semester. This was last year, but I mean, this was earlier this year, but we're using that as an example. So you'll notice below the classes that were decided upon with the advisor. So in this case, it's data 602, data 607. You'll notice here that if the classes haven't been taken, you'll see a block that says warning and it's in yellow. Essentially what that means is that the class, the student didn't sign up for the class, and it's just letting you know like, hey, like, this was in the plan, but you haven't signed up for the class. So it's just like a warning. If it's in progress, you'll see that noted in the block. Again, as a reminder, you can only create a plan with your advisor. So if you feel that it would be useful, please reach out to your advisor so that you can create a SEP plan. Another useful feature is the Whatif Analysis, which you can access in the main page of the student audit. You'll see a tab that says what if. Once you click on that, this is what you will see. Essentially what the what if audit is that it creates a hypothetical report. This is in the event that you want to change majors. It will essentially inform you on what credits transfer from your current degree if you already have one. It'll also identify the classes needed after you make the transfer. And it's extremely useful to plan ahead.
It's also helpful if you want to change your major you're considering, right? Does it sort of reshuffle information like if you're looking to switch your major?
Correct. So I'm gonna also share what that looks like on screen. So as we just shared with you, this is what the what if analysis will look like. So once you access the option, it'll give you a list of categories that you can select from. So in this case, in this hypothetical, student audit, we're going to select a business major. I'm going to select the degree, Bachelor's of Science, the major, and I'm going to choose to add a class, right? We're going to add business 210 and see what that would look like if we made the switch to a business major. So once you're finished selecting all the categories, you select on process new. So once it's finished loading, you're going to observe the degree audit. As was shown earlier in the slides, you're going to see all the blocks as well. So now you're going to see what your credits would look like if you made the switch to this degree. So you're going to observe the blocks. You're going to see what's missing. You're also going to see what's already been completed. So here you can observe that the general education requirements block has already been met. You see here the block that says complete. It means that it's been, the requirements have been met. We can observe that the college option requirements is still needed. Another feature to take note of is that anything that's added as a result of the hypothetical, in the hypothetical student audit will be displayed as planned. So underneath grade, it'll say that it's planned, just so that it can distinguish from like credits that are transferring over from your previous degree or just previous credits that you have taken in general. But besides that, it's going to look like your typical student audit. And again, the what if feature, just to reiterate, is very helpful in the event that you're thinking of switching majors. So it can be very useful for you to see what credits transfer, what might still be needed in the event that you do switch majors.
Alrighty, so that was quite a bit of material. So we've gone over the main features of DegreeWorks and some of the helpful tools you can use to better understand your degree path and make plans for the future. Before we wrap up and start taking any questions that you may have, I want to share some important tips to remember about DegreeWorks. So while it is a powerful tool, it's not a replacement for having a conversation with your academic advisor. So as I myself advise students for several years within CUNY, I just want to remind everyone it's always best to have actual conversation about your degree audit, to have a conversation with your advisor to help you interpret all of the details that you find. And that being said, here's some friendly reminders to keep in mind regarding this tool. So although you can see your grades and semester that you took the courses, it's not an official transcript. So this tool is purely informational and for advisement purposes and not to be confused with an official transcript or record of your grades. Another question I sometimes receive from students, it's not a tool that's used to apply for graduation. Students would sort of see everything checked off and ask if they can apply for graduation directly from the page. This is actually done on CUNY first, so completely separate platform, discuss with your advisor. Just wanted to point that out as sometimes there is confusion. And if you've registered for a course, it won't appear in progress on your DegreeWorks immediately. It's important to note that this information on CUNY first actually feeds DegreeWorks, it feeds into this platform. So the change usually takes around 24 to 48 hours to appear. So don't worry, the changes will appear. It just takes about a day or two for the information to be reflected on your degree audit, but trust it will appear there. And lastly, I wanted to share some important contacts for you. So please be sure to screenshot this page. Every student has an assigned academic advisor, so be sure to reach out to them directly if you have questions about your personal degree audit and your degree plan. But just to get in touch with advisement in general, there's the vanity account for that office. DegreeWorks questions can also be sent directly to this address. We have a special account just for DegreeWorks concerns. And given that the tool often can be tied with financial aid and courses being contributory towards your degree and financial aid eligibility, also just wanted to place in the financial aid office email as well. So I'll give everyone a sec to screenshot if they'd like. Some other important contacts, the help desk, if you have any technical issues that you may run into with DegreeWorks or any other platforms, Blackboard, anything in your courses, also just like to share that with everyone. Some additional contacts for you to screenshot. And additionally, If you'd like to reach myself or if you have any questions, please feel free to write to me at this address firstyear@sps.cuny.edu, and I'll be happy to help. And also, as promised, I've prepared a small packet for you to take home with you with various materials related to DegreeWorks, including these helpful contacts, a short questionnaire to help you basically to help you think more about DegreeWorks and how to use it. And we also actually have a completely new resource page with how-to videos, PDFs, screenshots, and that will also be shared with everyone as well. So please feel free to use the materials, share with your classmates, and bring them to your advising session. And that is essentially the presentation in and of itself, although we would like to open the floor if anyone has any questions that they may have about DegreeWorks. Christian is our resident expert on the platform right now, so please feel free to share questions in the Q&A if you have.
Emily, I think while we wait for the audience to kind of digest everything and throw some new questions into the Q&A, we did get one direct question a little bit earlier. I wonder if you could talk a little bit more, or perhaps Christian, you could talk a little bit more about if a student wants to change their major. The what if section seems like it has a lot of potential to help guide someone through, that process so they can see what they have. Can you highlight that bit one more time?
Christian, I think I'll defer to you on that one.
Sure. So, as mentioned before, a what if feature is really useful in that it can create a student audit or an analysis of what requirements you have to meet. And it shows what credits would transfer over if you have any credits that you have already taken. And it also identifies what classes you would need to take in the future. Yes, so once you click on the what if analysis, you'll see all these options. So, it allows you to, you have the option of picking the degree, what level, whether it's graduate, if you're looking ahead, or if you're an undergrad, also the major. If you want to even choose a minor, you have the option of choosing that. There's also a section called future courses. So that's also helpful if you want to see like what would happen to your degree audit if you, for example, took certain classes, or if you meet certain requirements, you can add those courses through future courses. Emily, I'm not sure if you have anything else to add, but yeah, it's a really helpful feature if you want to look ahead if you're thinking of changing majors.
Definitely. And just the same disclaimer that I shared, to always speak with your advisor if you're curious about changing your major, because again, the tool is very helpful, very informational, but ultimately to have things updated and such, you'll definitely want to speak with them directly.
I just want to add that unlike the plan, which the advisor can only create, you can access the what if analysis at any time at your own discretion. So if you're just curious and you want to look ahead, you could do that yourself.
Thank you, Christian. I see here that we got a question in the Q&A. So let's take a look at that. I see I received 5 credits for a Spanish course, and I see only 3 credits were transferred. Essentially, this is something that you want to discuss with your advisor, as this has to do with transfer credit evaluation and the way that the courses were distributed to your degree. I don't know, Christian, if you had anything to add to that, but to the best of my knowledge, it has to do with that, and it's best taken up with an advisor.
I have the same response. I would defer to your advisor. Sometimes, depending on, if it might vary from school to school. So
Right.
I would speak with an advisor.
For sure. Just emphasizing in interpreting things, right? One requirement at, one school may not be the same at another. So it's best to discuss directly with them. But yeah, any questions that you have like that, for sure. speak with an advisor. And I see another question came in here. Does DegreeWorks help in planning what classes to take for next semester? Definitely. I would say in the sense that it shows you the list of what's required for your degree, what's still remaining. So it can sort of help you, again, in conjunction with conversations with your advisor, sort of see what courses make sense to take together. But if you at least have an idea of like, this is what's remaining for me to take, then you can have this information in hand when you basically have more constructive conversation with your advisor. You know, does it make sense to take these two courses together? Is that too heavy of a load? You know, the DegreeWorks audit can give you that overview of what you need, but then it's always helpful to have the conversation with the advisor to help you interpret this and see what makes sense to take together, what makes sense to take in your next semester, prerequisites, and other information like that. So it definitely does, and especially with the SEP, the Student Education Planner feature, the plans feature, you can also see what your advisor has advised you to take. So yeah, I would say that's the best way to have it maximize its use. I'd sort of use it for those both things, to see the list of your requirements, but also what makes sense and what's feasible for you and your needs as a student in future semesters. And another question we received, if you have any questions regarding your assigned academic advisor, I highly recommend writing to the advisement email that you see on the screen here. And you can direct your question right directly to the department if you have questions about your assigned advisor. Okay, so we had a couple of questions answered. Does anyone else have any other questions that they'd like to raise with us? And also note that this event is being recorded, and I will share the recording with you through the first year email. So once it's actually ready, I'll be able to email that to everyone so you can have access to that. I'll also share with you the small packet that was prepared with a link to the instructional videos and manuals. There's a whole set of new step-by-step DegreeWorks videos, which are great. And I can also send out a copy of this PowerPoint if you'd like. You can write to me directly at the first year email that appears on your screen. But again, just welcoming any questions if anyone has any. And also recognize that it is a lot of information. So if there are no immediate questions that pop up, something that I do encourage you to do, if not today, by this weekend, I highly encourage you to log on to your personal degree audit, check out the new look, play around with some of the features, make an appointment with your advisor, ask questions. Registration opened recently for the spring, so you can get first dibs on your courses. So I highly recommend just logging on and poking around, check out the new look. That's often a great way to have questions generated, since DegreeWorks is a very hands-on type of tool. So that's just another pro tip for you guys. All right, so if there are no further questions, then I wanted to officially wrap up for the evening, and thank you all so much for attending and giving us some of your precious time, as I know that you all lead very busy lives with a lot of responsibilities. So thank you again for joining us. Be sure to look out for the copy of the presentation, the recording, as well as feel free to reach out to us via the emails provided. And have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for joining us.